The price of wealth. Once upon a time in a modest village, there was a man named Obina, known for his gentle heart and strong work ethic. He had grown up in a poor family, barely able to make ends meet. They were humble people, living off the land, scraping together enough to survive day by day. Obina's experience of poverty was one he vowed to leave behind as soon as he had the chance. When Obina was a young man, he fell in love with a kind woman named Chinello. She was hardworking and faithful, always at his side, believing in him even when things looked bleak. Together, they dreamed of a life free from the struggles of poverty. They had 2 children, Chinidu and Adaora, who brought joy to their simple home. Yet, Obina could never shake off the fear of being poor. That fear grew into a fierce ambition, driving him to seek a way out of his past hardships. One day, Obina had an idea that he was convinced would change his family's future. He saw an opportunity in trading spices and exotic goods from faraway towns. Knowing that it would require long hours and sacrifices, Obina spoke with Chinello, telling her about his plan and the potential riches it could bring. She hesitated, worried about the time it would take him away from home, but Obina's determination was fierce. "This is our way out, Chinello," he said, clutching her hands. "Imagine our children will never have to know the hunger we knew." Obina's business started slow, but he poured every ounce of energy he had into it, traveling to distant markets, bartering for better deals and learning the ins and outs of the trade. Over the years his efforts paid off. His business grew and soon Obina was a wealthy man. The village looked at him in awe and his family enjoyed luxuries they had never known before. A spacious house, beautiful clothes and delicious meals. But as Obina's wealth increased, so did his obsession with it. He became consumed by his business, waking up early, traveling often and returning home late into the night. At first, Chinello and the children waited up for him, hoping to spend at least a little time together, but as the years passed, they grew accustomed to his absence. He rarely attended family gatherings or spent time with Chinidu and Adaora. He promised to make time for them soon, but that time never seemed to come. Chinidu and Adaora grew up practically without their father's guidance. Chinello did her best, raising them with love and instilling good values, but it was difficult. As they grew older, the children began to rebel, feeling the void left by their father's absence. Chinidu fell in with a rough crowd, indulging in late nights and reckless behavior, while Adaora struggled with her own demons, searching for validation in all the wrong places. Chinello watched with a heavy heart as her children grew more distant and troubled. She pleaded with Obina to spend more time at home, to reconnect with his children before it was too late. But Obina dismissed her concerns, believing that providing for his family financially was the greatest gift he could give them. "They have everything they need," he would say, waving her off. "Money solves all problems, Chinello." But money could not replace a father's love or guidance. Chinidu's behavior worsened, and soon he became known in the village as a troublemaker. Adaora, too, struggled, drifting aimlessly from one crowd to another, seeking affection and stability but finding only heartache. Then, one fateful evening, disaster struck. Chinidu and Adaora, having borrowed a friend's car, were involved in a terrible accident on the outskirts of town. The news hit Chinello like a storm and she fell to her knees, grief-stricken. Obina, hearing the news, rushed back home, his heart heavy with regret. As he held his children's injured bodies in the hospital, he felt a profound emptiness that all his wealth could not fill. Chinidu survived but was scarred and broken, both physically and mentally. Adaora's injuries left her bedridden for months, her once lively spirit dimmed. Obina, for the first time in years, took a break from his business, hoping to rebuild his family, to make amends for the years he had neglected them. But the damage was done. In the months that followed, Chinello could no longer bear the life they had become. She felt abandoned and broken, her heart bruised from years of Obina's absence. As much as she had loved him, the years of loneliness and struggle had taken their toll. One day she sat down with Obina and told him the painful truth. "Obina, I have waited for you all these years, hoping you'd choose us. But I can't keep waiting for a love that comes only in wealth and not in presence. I need someone who can be here with me with the children." Obina's heart shattered. He pleaded with her, but Chinello's mind was made up. Not long after, she remarried a kind man from the village, someone who cherished her and understood the importance of family. Obina was left alone, haunted by the choices he had made. As he looked around his vast, empty house, Obina felt the weight of his regrets settle like stones in his heart. All the wealth he had amassed now felt like a curse. He had everything he had once dreamed of, but he had lost everything that truly mattered. His children, though still living, were strangers to him, each bearing the scars of his absence. His wife, once his partner and confidant, had moved on to a life filled with the love he could never give. Years passed and Obinna continued his business, though it no longer brought him joy. He would watch from afar as Chinelo and her new family thrived, his children struggling to find their way in a world that he had never fully prepared them for. He spent his days in solitude, his nights plagued by memories of what could have been. Obinna's tale became a cautionary one in the village, a reminder of the price of wealth without balance, of the emptiness that comes from neglecting what truly matters in pursuit of fleeting gains. And though he continued to live in his grand house, Obinna knew he was poorer than he had ever been before, haunted by the life he had sacrificed for a fortune that now meant nothing. Moral: true wealth lies not in riches but in the bonds of love, family, and time shared with those who matter most. Subscribe, like and comment as you do so. God bless you, and to also be notified when I post another interesting story like this. Goodbye. I'll appreciate and celebrate. Thank you.